Hello everyone, and welcome to my Christmas card series for 2020. As promised, these first two cards are going to be made from the Gina K Sparkle and Shine Christmas kit. Now, that kit is sold out, but they will be having these products individually in their store. They may already be there. If not, they'll be there soon. I will have her store linked down in the video description below. So I'm so excited to finally have my first two official Christmas cards of the season on video, getting the voiceover done, and going to be getting it out there to you. I've got so much fun Christmas product that I want to use. I'm just hoping that I can touch on a little bit of all of it, but I'm very excited to get some really fun stuff out there for everybody. Okay, so back to this card here. I am starting off with I am white heat embossing on a piece of Dina Classic Crest 80 pound. The snowflakes and stars out of one of the stamp sets that were included in the kit. And then I will take the big snowflake that has the knocked out middle section for one of the greetings that is in that stamp set. And that will be in the center. That is the main focal point of the card. And I'm going to do some Distress Oxide ink blending, and I've got the four colors lined up there, and it's going to be like that one is just glowing, and then it just goes to dark into the night sky, but that one that says Christmas Wishes is going to be just glowing. So I'm doing this heat embossing in steps. I'm using some Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink. And I'm doing it a little by little because, one, it's hard to see where you've put that white powder, and two, I don't want to mess up any of the ones by trying to stamp them all and then emboss them all. So I just do a few emboss and do a few emboss, heat emboss, and move along. And you just want to make sure you tilt it very good in the light to make sure that everything is shiny and melted. It will go from dull to shiny when it is good and melted. And so, when you do a background stamping like this, you want to make sure that you stamp a few here and there that are go off the page to kind of give it the feel that there's more going on, that there's something outside of that card panel to give it a bigger feel than what's just on your 5x7 piece of paper, or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, whatever size card that you like to make best. Okay, so we're starting off with Speckled Egg, and then we're going to do Tumbled Glass and Chipped Sapphire. And I couldn't remember if I did Chipped Sapphire or Blueprint Sketch, but it's Chipped Sapphire. And then we're going to end up with some Black Soot. So this is, like I said, on Dina, and I think I with Oxides, I do a little bit better with the old standby of the round little sponge tool thing. And on I think, it just depends. But on the Oxides, I do better with the sponge. On regular Distress inks, I do better with the brushes. So, but whatever works for you, test it out, try it out, and, do what works best for you. And I started with the lightest, went out to the darkest, and then we'll come back into the lightest again. And I think by doing that, I got a pretty good blend from color to color. And once it dries and kind of settles into the paper, that blend, it just gets better. So if you're, a little unsure about it, let it dry. 9 times out of 10, it'll look great. Oxides are so forgiving when it comes to ink blending that they are the easiest, but they do have that little bit of a duller finish. So if I want something that's very bright and brilliant, then I'll just use regular Distress inks. So they do both serve a purpose, and I do like having having both in my craft room. And good ink blending is all about patience. You know, don't try and rush the process. Okay, so after that dried for a little bit, I'm just taking a dry baby wipe and just going over each one of the snowflakes and getting off any ink that is just still sitting on top of those white heat embossed areas. Okay, showed you just briefly the stamp set that has that snowflake, and it has this round ornament. Now I did already, my battery died and I didn't realize it, and I just kept coloring before I realized I was not filming. So I just used some red combinations of Copic markers to, and I will have that all on my blog, the colors that I used to make those round circles. And then on this circle, I'm just doing one solid color, and I am going to heat emboss that one with the knockout in the middle with rose blush embossing powder from Simon, and then the snowflakes, the large snowflakes in that in the other set that comes in the kit, I am going to use some Nuvo silver embossing powder to emboss those snowflakes on them. I probably should have done all that before I die cut them out, because then I had to like tape them down. It was a little bit tricky and everything. So I would suggest probably doing that embossing and then cutting them out, and that would probably work way better than what I was trying to do here. And here you can see that other set that has the large snowflakes in it that I will put on those other circles I made. I just wanted a highlight spot to give a feel of, you know, light and everything, lights from a tree, whatnot. Okay, so got them all stamped. I'm going to do the heat embossing, and then we're going to move along to using the stencil that came into the kit. And I'm using some Glacier paste, and I will have this color green listed down below. But Glacier paste is kind of like fake foiling. When it dries, it has the kind of shine and appearance that foil does. So it is kind of like fake foiling. So if you don't want to get into having a laminator and buying foil and all that kind of stuff, you might want to give Glacier paste a go. You know, they're fairly inexpensive. Make sure that any kind of paste that you do buy, you put a piece of press and seal or some sort of plastic over the top of it before you screw your lid down, and they will stay good much longer than if you don't. They will dry out if you don't have a good seal on there. So got that all spread out with my palette knife, just wiping down my palette knife real quick, and then I will peel this up, and then I will take that immediately to the sink and wash it. Okay, so time has gone by. This is dry. I've trimmed it down. I am going to do a 5.5 by 5.5 inch square card. I trimmed this down to 5 1/4 square. And that main circle that I'm going to put the sentiment in the middle of, I'm popping it up. The other ones I will just glue those down. I'm also going to pop up the sentiment in the middle. You might ask, why didn't I just stamp it in there? Well, I tried and I did not get it centered. So I had to stamp it on a separate piece of paper that I just colored with that same Copic marker. And so it looks all the same and everything. And so I just decided, well, then I'm just going to pop it up and make it look purposeful, that I did it that way, and not that I screwed up my stamping. Anyway, okay, so these come with the little ornament hanger tops. They also come with a string, but because I did that embossing on the background, I couldn't really use the string, so I'm just putting the toppers on without the string. And again, I let a couple of them hang off, one just a little bit, one a little bit more, and then I will just snip off those little extra bits, and that'll pretty much do it for the front of this card. After we get that on there, get those bits trimmed off, then we will move along to getting these put onto our card bases, which is 110 pound Nina Solar White, and we will stamp the insides of our cards. And I'm going to use a stamp set from Gina K Designs, but did not come in the kit, but it's called Sentimental Holiday, and it has some really beautiful sayings to put on the insides of your cards. I love Gina K stamp sets that have the inside sentiments that she has them for birthdays and and all sorts of occasions and things. And they're always very lovely. And, you know, several lines look really good inside your cards and everything. Okay, I'm going to foam tape this down, mash all your foam tape down good, and you won't have any issues with it. Just taking off that release liner, and I will get that centered up in the middle of that card. Probably should have stamped the inside before I put that on, but I still made it work. It's all good. And then we'll get this card. Oh, here's where I forgot, got to put the Christmas wishes on the snowflake. And I'm going to do that with the Nuvo silver embossing powder, the same one that I used on the ornaments on the other card. And I'm just using a pencil eraser to get that centered in there, because those new stamps stick to your finger, but they don't stick to a pencil eraser. So if you have issues with it sticking to your finger and you can't get it where you want it, try using a pencil eraser. You might find that that'll help you out a little bit. All right, so we'll get this all embossed and heat set again till it's shiny and melted. And then we'll be ready to attach that to the front of the card and stamp the inside of that card. All right, so that's basically it for these two cards. At the very end of the video, I'll have some final photos for you to look at. If you want to look at more photos and see picture links for all the products used, I said I will have that, my coordinating blog post linked down in the video description below as well. And yeah, then the next we'll be on to Christmas cards 3 and 4 or 3. I'm not sure how many I'll do in the next video, but we'll get one up as soon as possible. I do have my Christmas Craft Creations blog, my November one. It will go live on 11/25, and I have done a video for it, so that will go live on 11/25. And our challenge for November was anything but a card, so that's kind of interesting. And it said if you need inspiration for Christmas cards, check out the blog. It's got some great inspiration. A lot of talented people post to the challenge, and there's a lot of talented people on the design team. So yeah, man, it's hard to believe it's almost Thanksgiving, right? Next week is going to be busy. My youngest son, he will come home from college on Friday, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing him. We did have a bit of a disaster last night with him. I think I had told y'all before that he got the COVID and had to be quarantined. He was only mildly sick for 2 days, but he did have to miss a lot of class. So he's now trying to figure out how to make that up, since they're cooking classes, a little different than just a regular class. But anyway, he's getting a handle on that. But he hadn't been anywhere for 2 weeks, and so he went somewhere and tried to use his debit card and discovered that his bank account had been emptied out. He had worked so hard and so diligently to save money. He had, when he went to college, he had right at $10,000 saved. So he's had well over $9,000 in his account that was all taken. It was crazy. He just hadn't looked at his account and hadn't tried to use anything in 2 weeks. So we're working with the bank and trying to get his money back. But so please say a little prayer that we can get all that restored back to him. That was quite a blow. But anyway, that's it for today, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.